A former very close associate of Donald Trump's who worked in his first administration on matters happening behind the scenes, a man by the name of Lev Parnas has spent the last couple weeks really sounding the alarm bells about how dangerous Donald Trump is becoming. But unlike the corporate media that talks about, oh, Trump's dangerous because he signs this executive order, he's ignoring the courts, and of course those are all important things, Parnas has been sounding the alarm bells about Donald Trump's very obvious cognitive decline, something that the corporate media continues to pretend doesn't exist. But in a Substack post on Thursday, Lev Parnas had this to say about Donald Trump's mental state. I know a lot of you have been wondering what Trump's next move might be, but as I've been telling you, the real story isn't about what he will do, it's about what he's already doing right now. The cover-up is intensifying, and this morning Donald Trump took a sledgehammer to what remained of his MAGA base in a Truth Social post. He didn't just call out his supporters, he disemboweled them. The very people who built his movement and who defended him through every scandal were called irrelevant, weaklings. He doubled down while taking questions in the Oval Office. He called MAGA foolish, stupid, and duped by the Democrats, specifically about what he now calls the Epstein hoax. This was a big mistake, because something is happening that the media is not reporting. But I've been telling you for months, and now even Trump's closest allies are starting to admit it. The man is unraveling. You could call it desperation, cognitive decline, or just plain delusion, but when Donald Trump can't remember that he himself nominated Jerome Powell to the Fed and then blames Joe Biden for it, you know something is deeply wrong. He's so used to blaming Biden for everything, it's now automatic. The economy, Biden's fault. Epstein files, Biden planted them. But something is deeply wrong. And, about 2 weeks ago, Parnas had posted another thing on Substack where he talked about Donald Trump's increasing cognitive decline. And I like how he pointed out that the media is not talking about it. But we're at a point in time where just over the last 2 weeks now, Donald Trump has exhibited far more symptoms of cognitive decline than Joe Biden ever did in a 2-week span. The problem is this, and I think I've kind of figured this out, right? Biden did exhibit signs of cognitive decline. There is no denying that. I talked about it right here on Ring of Fire as it happened. The problem is Biden's became so sensational and would stay in the news for days and days and days because it wasn't constant. It wasn't daily. It wasn't even weekly. So Biden would go out, have a totally, cogent conversation or interview or speech, and it didn't matter. But then the next day, he would do a speech and he confuses the president of Mexico and he calls her the president of Egypt, right? Oh my God, that's a 3-day story. What an idiot, what a buffoon. This guy's clearly mentally unwell. Get him out of office now. Well, not exactly with Trump, though. And he makes these mistakes. He said Biden appointed Powell, even though Trump did in October of 2017. And the media just yawns and moves on. Why? Well, partially because if they report on that, they're going to lose access to him. That's number one. Like, that's not even partially. That is the main big thing. They don't want to be mean to him. They don't want to report the truth because he'll banish them from the White House for the next 3.5 years. They're terrified of that, so they're overly nice to him in a way that gives us skewed coverage. But number two is who can keep up with it? I mean, honestly, there's plenty of Donald Trump mental gaffes, symptoms of cognitive decline that even I don't talk about because, holy hell, I do have to talk about other things from time to time. I mean, we could make a whole separate YouTube channel that was nothing but Donald Trump screwing up and showing symptoms of dementia, and we'd have fresh content every day. But that's not always news. Or is it? Right? I mean, the President of the United States showing very clear signs consistent with dementia, I think that is news. And Jake Tapper just wrote what is now a best-selling book about it. Huh. Oh well. The media will continue to ignore it. The people who know Trump better than anybody, like Mr. Parnas here, are going to keep warning us about it. And nobody's going to do anything until it is, of course, way too late to do anything about it. and we've probably already hit that point. Thanks for watching, everybody, and if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. We got fresh content every day for you. And if you want to follow us across social media, make sure you check out all of the social links that we have posted in the description of this video.